Hey guys, how's it going? Today we have one hell of a servant on the chopping block, perhaps one of the most unusual additions to the game as well as one of the most fun designs. Today we'll be diving into the sacrilegious first human woman and mother of demons, Lilith. Lilith is such a fascinating character in the historical record because she is largely not present. I ever so mistakenly made the comment that she was from the Bible in my gotcha video and was promptly corrected by every other comment underneath that. To all of you, I say, you're right, I was wrong. Kind of. She actually does appear in the standard King James Bible a single time, mentioned as a demon that roams the deserts. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Lilith instead is found in the old Abrahamic text of the Old Testament, which would serve as the foundational text for Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. I'm not going to get into the whole creation and development practices of these three, just know that there was a time when Lilith was mentioned much more often than she is now. The tellings of this have slight differences, but generally all come to the same result. Lilith was made after Adam from the same dirt or clay. Adam wanted to be dominant to her and so demanded that she lay beneath him, but she refused, saying that they were made of the same earth and therefore equals. This resulted in a fight, with the end result being that Lilith profaned herself and flew away. Adam distraughtly asked God to get her back, to which God sent 3 angels to find her, ordering them to tell her that if she returned she would be forgiven as long as she listened to Adam, but if she refused she would be cursed to have 100 of her children die every day. When the angels found her over the Red Sea, they told her God's word, but still she refused and now said that she laid claim to newborns for 8 days if they were a boy and 20 if they were a girl. She then told them that she would spare children if she saw the charms of the angels near them before flying off. After this, she famously became the mother to various demons that were not originally fallen angels. And then she just kind of vanishes and Eve is created from Adam's rib, guaranteeing that women would be subservient to him as she was made from him. Now, this is all well and good, but unfortunately not directly tied to the Lilith that we summon in FGO. Rather, we summon the demoness that likely served to inspire Lilith in these mythologies, the Babylonian Lilitu, the feminine form of the masculine Lilu. But I didn't just share the Abrahamic Lilith because I wanted to give myself more work. While the Lilitu demon appears to be the main base for the servant Lilith, aspects of the Abrahamic Lilith still exist within her. The most prominent of these is actually found in her Bond CE titled Death, Death, Death. In it, there is a direct reference to a child dying because of her influence and showing a doll next to the desiccated remains. We can assume it's a girl because of the doll, which would also mean that Lilith's cursed influence would have had a longer grip on the child. All of this while she talks about how you shouldn't feel bad because it's the death of a stranger and a perfectly normal thing to happen. So, on that happy note, let's now talk about what the Lilitu is. Let's start with that wording. What? Not who. Lilitu were described as promiscuous teenage female demons who spread plague, STDs, and inhabited the deserts. In fact, they almost appeared to be the mirrored side of Ishtar in many ways, almost like a bastardization of her. Where Ishtar, despite her various issues, was a powerful patron god of love and war, the Lilitu were less powerful demons that skipped all of the heavenly designations to get right to the negative end result. What I mean by this is that Ishtar waged wars to defend and embolden her people, but a natural consequence of war is famine, disease, and death. Ishtar supported love and sex so that people may come together and bond, as well as create families, but a natural consequence of sex is the risk of STDs or your child having birth defects. The Lilitu ignore all of the good that these things can produce and exclusively sow the bad. Lilu and Lilitu would actively harm members of the opposite sex, either via seduction, the spreading of curses, or the outright killing of children. From a modern point of view, these are easily discerned as warnings against attractive strangers who you meet in the desert, as well as a tale of how some people got various STDs or why a child suddenly died. They serve as a cautionary tale to not venture into the desert alone, and I can very well see them as a boogeyman sort of figure that parents told to their children. There is a non-zero chance that thousands of years ago a mother uttered the phrase, "behave yourself or the Lilu will come and take you." The prominence of these demons shouldn't be ignored either, as we actually have a descendant of one of these in Chaldea long before Lilith was added. According to the Sumerian list of kings, the father of none other than Gilgamesh was a Lilu demon, or at least is believed to be. The sources on that are a little bit vague, with some English translations stating that his father was just a demon or non-human. However, others remain adamant that he was a Lilu, making me want to see the interaction between him and Lilith. Actually, these two share an even deeper connection, because one of the most prominent stories featuring a Lilitu is found in the Epic of Gilgamesh. This story actually involves Ishtar as well. Ishtar wanted to construct a new throne for herself from an oak tree that had been blown away in a storm. To make sure it was at its sturdiest, she replanted the tree and nurtured it. However, for some reason the tree began to attract various monstrous creatures to it. In its boughs, a massive eagle made its nest and would swoop at those who approached it. In its roots, an incredibly venomous snake made its home and would lunge at those who came near. And finally, in its trunk, a Lilitu made its home, where it would presumably try and beckon others to the tree to be attacked by the the animals. This monstrous trio was so bad that the goddess herself was unable to really do anything about them, so she went to Gilgamesh asking for help. He agreed to lend her a hand, possibly as a sign of healing relations between the gods and himself after the Gukulana incident. He killed the snake, drove away the eagle, and chased the Lilitu back into the desert. As a reward, he was given a sacred drumstick which fell into hell on accident as he was returning home. As far as stories surrounding the Lilitu go, that's all that we really have, but we do have a bit more to go into: her design. In terms of historiosity, and this may come as a shock, the first and second ascension don't hold much water. The third ascension, however, does have an interesting historical mirror. There is a stone-carved depiction of a bird-footed and feathered-winged woman called the Burney relief that was discovered in Mesopotamia and is currently housed in the British Thieves Guild. This relief, when looked side by side to Lilith, shows some striking similarities. Lilith has something closer to feline feet rather than those of a bird, but this more likely was a change made so that she didn't overlap so closely with the recently released Lohi design. Plus, the presence of lions in her artwork would appear to give some weight to this as well. They both share the same feathered wings and are flanked by creatures smaller than themselves. While the Burney relief depicts owls, the FGO design has what can be assumed to be either children or familiars of Lilith, named Eins, Zwei, and Dry respectively. Also, while I said that her first two designs have no basis in history, that's not entirely true either. As stated previously, the Lilitu were teenage demons, and at the very least, the first ascension can be perceived as a modern goth teen design. But that's all I've got for you today. Lilith, in the books. Let me know what you thought down below. While you're there, check out my links for my Discord, Twitch, Twitter, merch store, and various other things. Do all the YouTube things, but for now, keep your chin up. Peace.